Hello and welcome back to Automotive Tales. Look what I have here. Rolls-Royce. So it's coming out of storage because, well, this space is going to be used for some burlesque practice. So there are worse reasons for having to move the car. So she's coming home and she's going into the barn. There she is. So I think a few people thought this car didn't actually exist anymore. I'd long since got rid of it, but no, it is here. I've just reconnected the battery. We appear to have juice. So now I've got to check some fluids and hopefully we're starting the Rolls-Royce. So we're in the car. I've checked all the fluids. So I've checked that the float chambers in the carburetors, I've got plenty of oil in them, and I've checked the engine oil. It's all nice and golden and clean. So the only thing left to do is put the key in the ignition, let the system prime and see how we get on. That's always a good sign. Everything is illuminated. You can hear the pump clicking away. A bit of a squeeze on there. That's also not a good start. Right, I think I might know what the problem is, and I may have been being slightly stupid. Shall we try again, shall we? So we've got all the lights. First try! Look at that! We've got oil pressure. It's alive! So, the last time this car was out was Festival of the Unexceptional 2023, not this year's event. So it's been sitting here over a year, and look at that, it started straight up. Just waiting for the oil pressure to come up, which it is doing slowly, as is the brake pressure. There you go, just like that, it's alive. We've even got the light under here has come back to life. That wasn't working earlier. How cool is that? It's thumping along very, very slowly, but then it hasn't seemed to go on to choke, so it's idling really, really low RPMs, but it seems relatively happy. I'm going to back it out and get it into some fresh air. It's not very happy just yet. It's sort of ticking over, but it feels like it's a few cylinders down, so wait to get a bit of warmth in it, give it a few RPMs and see whether that sort of fires the other cylinders into life and get them chiming in.
A few moments later.
So, continuity in this channel is corking, isn't it? You may have noticed it's no longer the evening of playing with the Rolls-Royce, and you might notice that the Rolls-Royce is home. It's here at HQ2.0. So it did start, it did run, as you saw. It never really ran on more than 4 cylinders, but that gives you, 3.5 litres worth of engine to get home. So I did manage to get it home, which wasn't very far, it's only around the corner. So now I've got to figure out why it's only running on 4 cylinders, but that's probably a job for later in the weekend because we're about to have a party. My neighbour's parked this here because he's about to go do a wedding, which is rather a lovely thing, isn't it? We've got the 944 out. There's a Kia Stinger. The Land Rover is there. We've just had a petrol pump delivered for the yard, which is really cool. And yes, I'm about to host 40 odd people in my barn. So we're going to dig into this in a bit. While we're thinking about other vehicles at HQ 2.0, I don't think I've ever mentioned before, but there's a Morris in the long barn, and some Penta wheels for a BMW, along with my lathe. So this isn't actually one of my projects. This belongs to a friend of mine, Owen. He's busy doing a dry fit up of the car, which explains why there is a car on 4 wheels in here and no door big enough to get it out of this garage. You'll also notice the big slop pit here as well. So it would be impossible to move this car out of here, but it's just a dry fit up for now, with the hope that once he's proved all the bits are here, because you can see there's piles of bits everywhere, that it will then be taken apart in sub-assemblies, moved out into the big barn, which I'm going to show you in a second, and then be reassembled as a wet fit with oil and coolant, etc. and hopefully run. You've got to admit though, it looks pretty fitting in this lovely old barn to have this beautiful old 1930s Morris. Got the 944 out. Sadly, that is now sold. Still a few days left on the auction, but it's sold by the time this video goes out. We've got my petrol pump. The Land Rover is sitting on the mud, which is where it belongs. The Rolls-Royce is here. We need to deal with that another day. And then our little barn, so you may have seen this in some of the earlier videos, is now set up for a party. Look at that. So we have a huge, great big barn set up with food and drink. So it might not be a very car-related video this time because, as you can see, we've been a little bit busy. But we will come back with more content on the Rolls-Royce. Now it's home, I can start to dig into the engine bay, find out why it's not running on all 8 cylinders. Probably see the Porsche go at some point soon. And also the police car we did a video on, the Crown Victoria, that has now sold. So thank you to the folks at Evoke Classics. We've managed to find a buyer for that car. So it's going off to the Shetland Islands, I believe, to its new owner. So I hope the new owner enjoys it. It's got quite a journey ahead of it. I've had to get my favourite sign out, welcomes careful drivers, which is bent in the middle where it got hit by a car. Right, well, the party was a success, apart from the almost biblical levels of rain and thunder and lightning, which started just as people started to arrive at the party and ended just after everybody left, which is a nice sign. So that's all done out of the way. The Rolls-Royce and the Porsche are now tucked away in the garage. The Porsche has sold, so we're just waiting for a collection date on that. Still haven't managed to get the Rolls-Royce running properly. So I've got 8 new spark plugs. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's 2 sets of 4. Because I pulled a couple of plugs when I had a free evening. And they're looking pretty fouled. And the rotor arm wasn't looking great either. So those parts have been ordered. As soon as they arrive, I'll get them fitted. That will probably be on the next video. But in the meantime, we had a lovely little jaunt up to Lincolnshire to see some incredible things. So I took a couple of videos, not really as many as I probably should have done, but I'll include some of those here. And with that, I will see you next time. Oh yeah, and the police car is going. Okay, so it is now time for the Crown Vic to go onto a low loader. So I'm going to go and reconnect the battery, and then it's a final drive in this really cool machine. And it's not mine, it actually belongs to my brother, as you'll have seen in the previous video, but it's off to the Shetland Islands. Right, let's go and start this tiny little 5.4 litre V8. And I'm an idiot because it's actually a 4.6. I don't know where 5.4 came from, but look at this lovely thing. So what I do love about this car's not the beeping, because that's really irritating, but it's been sat for what, 2 weeks? Look at that, straight away. What a wonderful thing. Only done 61,500 miles. Properly Billy Basic. And you know we did a video on this car, so I've had to bring it back to HQ2.0, which is where it's being collected from. So I actually got to drive this car for the first time. And you know what? They're an amazingly fun thing to drive. I can see why a few of the people in the automotive community, so I think Jim had one for a while, and Furious Driving I think's got one as well. They're lovely to drive. They're not necessarily quick, but they sound great, as you can hear. They are silky smooth, like silky smooth to drive, and it's a lovely column shift, so click 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 into gear and it just wafts away. So if you ever get the chance to drive one, I would highly recommend it. Right, it's telling me I need to do my seatbelt up. It's very angry about me doing my seatbelt up, so I'm going to close the door, put my seatbelt on, so that stops doing that every once in a while. And there she is, all loaded up, ready to go off to the Shetland Islands. So you'll notice I've popped the wheel trims off because they are incredibly hard to get hold of if they disappear. So they are now in the boot of the car, which is all locked up, ready to go. What's interesting is the Crown Vic has a massive front overhang, so it's sort of quite a tight fit. There's plenty of space for it to swing in here, but yeah, how cool is that? Okay, well, thank you for watching this episode of Automotive Tales. I will see you next time when hopefully we'll get the spark plugs changed out and we'll get the Rolls-Royce up and running, because I have actually got some things I want to do with it, which will be a little bit of fun. I've missed one event I wanted to go to, but I don't want to miss any more. So let's get this thing running at long last. If for no other reason than it's looking a little bit empty here outside HQ 2.0. So all the project cars are sort of tucked away except for the Rolls-Royce. So it'd be nice to have that out and about and then parked out here so I can look at it from my office. Right. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.